Hello everybody and welcome in a new tutorial. Today we will try to see together how to create logo mockups in Blender. So I have this Blender file where I have created this logo mockup. So we'll try to create something like this. So let's open a new Blender file. As you can see here, I've already opened it. So I'll add in a plane, scale it up a bit, and I will go ahead and import my SVG file. I already have it here in Inkscape, so all what you have to do is to export your file as an SVG file. You can do it on Illustrator too, because it's the only vector format that Blender supports. So go on File, Import, and import Scalable Vector S Graphics, which is SVG, and browse into your SVG file. As you can see here, it's imported as paths, or it's imported as curves actually. So let's select them all here in the outliner and click on the dot on the numpad. As you can see here, the logo is a bit messed up, so I'll try to arrange it and make it a better logo, or better logo mockup. So first of all, I will just set the origins into the origin of the geometry, so it will be easy to work with. So object set origin to geometry. So the anchor points are in the origin of each object, because the paths, or the objects of the logo, are imported as separate parts. And as you can see here, the logo is so small, so I'll try to scale it up a bit like that and put it in the center like this. Yeah, so next thing we're gonna do is try to join the text here, because we wouldn't be obliged to do the same thing over and over, especially for the materials. So go into the outliner and select all the letters and click on Ctrl J to join them together. So like this, we have fewer objects to deal with. I will also join up these eyes together, so we have only few objects to work with. So next thing we're gonna do is to extrude up the curves. So let's go ahead and extrude the map. We'll select this object, Batman head, and go here in the curve tab, here into the scroll down to geometry, and extrude it up. That's 0.1, that's 2, that's a lot, not like that. Let's try 0.001. That's little. I think that 0.005 is good. We'll do the same for the other objects. 0.005. I will make it less than this value to match the original logo. The next thing to do is do the same thing for the text. 0.006, let's say. Yes, and for the shield we'll do the same thing, 0.003. I think that it's enough, and the eyes to 0.8, let's say, or less than this. So as we have the basic shape, what we can do also is to bevel the, let me just scale up this part a bit. What I can do is to try to bevel the edges, and it's very easy here. Always in the geometry tab, try to put a very small value here. Let's try another value. As you can see here, the edges started smoothing out, which helps to catch the light and to have a very good look of the logo. I will try a smaller value, 0.005. Let's think that it's good. I will do the same thing for this part and the shield too. 0.5. Yeah, so next thing we're gonna do is go to the materials. Oops. So be careful for the bevel because the values are very sensitive. It may affect the other parts. So the next thing, as I've said, is to start playing with the material. Before that, I will switch the render engine to cycles to see how it's looking. I think we need some lights. You can do it using the lights here in Blender, and you can use an HDRI like I'm using here in my case. So go to the world tab, color environment, and open your HDRI. I'll browse into my HDRI. So we have natural lighting. Next, I will try to give it some materials. Go to my material tab, and click on use nodes. I'm using here 2.9, so if you are using any other versions of the software, it's pretty much the same. I've lost here the color, so I'll try to. Luckily, it's just a simple black. So the next thing we're gonna do is to reduce the specular here, so it will be less shiny, but we will increase the metallic and decrease the roughness 0.2. Let's see how it's looking. Oh, I think that I should give it some specular. 0.2, 0.3, I think it's good. So as you move around, you can see that it starts reflecting light, which is pretty good. Next thing is to give it the same material as this. Let's just rename it. Let's say black. Oops. I've named the object instead of naming the material. Anyway, let's give it the same material as the first part. Like that. There are some glitches and I don't know why it's doing that, but it's okay. Next thing is to give some metallic materials to the yellow parts. So I will just copy the hex code here, because here when I click on use nodes, it's becoming white, which is not what I want. Let's paste in our color here and increase the metallic and decrease the roughness, so it will be reflected. Just move it on the z-axis a bit so it would be visible. I will apply the same material for this shield. Let me just name it yellow. Select shield and browse into the yellow material. So that's pretty much it. If you want to add scratches like I've done here, you can do that by going into shading tab here and add a Voronoi texture in the color ramp, of course, to control the amount of the bumps that we're gonna use, and add in a bump node. Of course, click here on Control T if you have a Node Wrangler add-on enabled to add in the mapping and texture coordinate. We plug the object into the vector and the distance to it. So, as I've said, we apply the Voronoi texture into the color ramp and the color into the height and the bump, the normal into the normal. It will take a while, just some time to process the changes. So I will try to change it into Chebyshev. You can play around with the values here and the settings till you have your desired output. I will scale up the vector here, or the scale of the Voronoi texture. So as you can see here, it's not what I want to have. So what I'll do is to scale the texture on the Y. Let's give it 5 or maybe more, 25 on the Y. So let's switch to the render mode. As you can see here, we're having so many scratches, and that's a lot. We can control it using the color ramp here, so we have less scratches. So try to adjust it till you have your desired amount of scratches. So yeah, you can do the same for the black parts and you're pretty much done. Just try to, I don't know why there is some, yeah, it's a bit laggy, never mind. So try to position your camera in a way that it's showing the reflections. So click on or adding camera first, yeah, and click on Control Alt and 0, so the camera is brought to the view and snapped into the view. Place in your camera as you want and click on render. So that's pretty much it, guys, for this tutorial. I hope that you've learned something. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one, inshallah.